should we expect more of a pass rush this week because Garoppolo is less mobile than Murray?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought our guys rushed really well last week. I thought it was the best we had looked is really for quite some time. So I think Jimmy's played a long time. He's an excellent quarterback. They have great receivers, so he'll get the ball out on time. It'll be a different challenge than obviously Kyler is with his ability to move. But Jimmy's he's got great feet, great rhythm. So for this week, it's more about him getting the ball out before we have a chance to get there, and then whatever plan Coach Shanahan has.
How confident are you that Xavier will be able to come back? Do you think you have two new safeties?
I think Xavier will be a game time decision. I think we'll get right up to the game and see if he can go.
Has he worked on the side at all, man?
Yeah, he's done all the stuff with those guys. That's the good thing about having a vet back there. He's done a lot over the. So I don't worry about if he can go. I feel good about it. So he's trending. He's trending towards having a chance. So hopefully he can play.
And with Laviska out, will Terrace be active?
Yep. Yeah. Terrace is at the point now where he would have been active anyway. He's had like 3 great weeks, and I think he's right where he needs to be. So I'm excited to see him play.
With how long Justin and Miles and Sean have been in the defense, do you feel confident that if Xavier can't go, they'll have the communication down pat?
Yeah, I think Justin has started for us. He's played a lot in this league. For us, it's just about him. It's just about him being healthy, and he's healthy right now. So I have a lot of confidence in Justin Hill. I think he'll play really well. If Xavier can go, he'll go. And then Miles, Miles is already a starter for us at nickel, so he just, he moves back, and then, we play CJ, JC, and Dante, more.
Is there
As you prepared this week in practice, what has been your biggest point of emphasis going into this game?
I probably have separate ones for each. We always talk about one thing on defense, one thing on offense, one thing on special teams. We've given the defense, a lot of good looks at. This is a really, really sophisticated offense. So we've shown them all the wide zones, the bully crushes, the bullies, all the different runs that they run, all the play action passes, all the screens. So I think for our defense, it's just about sustaining excellence, for long periods of time. And then, offensively, we've been working on third down. We've been working on, trying to stay on the field. This is an excellent defense we're facing. And special teams, just Coach Sabers worked hard at eliminating the penalties. We're playing well on special teams, but we hit the ball at the 1 and it gets called back last week. So we have to eliminate the penalties to truly let our special teams be a weapon.
How much of a challenge is it to face a team that uses the fullback as much as they do?
I think anytime you have a team that uses a fullback, it's a challenge. You create an extra gap wherever you want to. It doesn't happen a ton. If he inserts in the B gap, now you have 2 B gaps. He inserts in the A gap, 2 A gaps. So you don't see a lot of fullback anymore in football. We use Geo, so we get that practice rep. We use Geo as a tight end / fullback, so we get those reps all the time in practice. But for me, it's what they do, but also how they do it. They're excellent. Up front, great backs, great run system. So it's just about us matching the fullback and seeing what their plan is for us.
With him and Debo and how they just use them all over the place, is that kind of hard to identify exactly what they're going to do?
Yeah, there's certain teams in this league where when Phil plays them, he doesn't play them based off of personnel. Like we play the Saints, we don't really play them a ton off personnel because they'll put 13 personnel out there and then play it like it's a spread set. So I plays off down and distance and kind of. Then we also have certain. Phil always does a good job of certain keys each week that he's going to play off of. So. Their ability to use Kittle as a receiver and a tight end, their ability, or as a fullback, their ability to use Jusic as a tailback, fullback, tight end, receiver. You have to just be prepared to line up to all those things.
Your other questionable guys, Frankie and Marquis, you feel good about them?
Yeah, Marquis I think will play, and Frankie I think will play. I think they'll both play. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but Marquis, that's I was like, I don't know why he's even listed, but I know he's had something, and so we're just really transparent. So really transparent.
Last week you challenged the wide receivers. You said you didn't know who you'd want to challenge Monday. Was there a specific position group that you thought needed to kind of step up?
I think the offense in general just has to come together and play well, and I think they're capable of that. And why not do it against the number 1 defense in football? So. We have to just come together and everyone has to make their play, right? It can't be about you. It's got to be about the unit, and we have to make our plays. And so, and, you know, it's like, you know, same thing with the kind of defense. Like, hey, it's great, you're playing great for 3 quarters, but the fourth quarter, that's where winning happens, right? You know, you watched the game last night. Winning happens in the fourth quarter. So, you know, go take it another step. So I think that's been kind of the message this week for me.
With Terrace, you said that he's put together 3 great weeks of practice. What in particular has he done to kind of earn the playing time?
Yeah, you know, I think for Terrace, he's a big, powerful, physical receiver, and when he leans into that and plays that way, that's what allows him to be special. Being a physical guy at the point of contact, being physical on his releases, being a great blocker, being physical at the catch point. So, you know, I think those things come with reps. You know, it's like we all want everything to be ready-made, and I get it, but like those things come with reps, and so even giving some looks, you know, being on the look squad has been really good for him because you're going against JC, you go against those guys in practice, you better bring it, and he's brought it, and so some of the 50-50 balls and things like that has really been good. So it's time for him to go.
Is it something like Derek Brown, like we talked about earlier in the week, where you kind of need to step out and then come back in?
I think so. Yeah, I think with young players, I mean, they put a lot of pressure on themselves, and you know, my thing, I tell all the young guys, like, you know, you have really 3 years in this league as a young player to develop skills, and you have talent, but talent has to be turned into skill. And if you develop skills, so both like your preparation, your professionalism, but also like your position skills, then you can play years 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever it is. You know, you watch guys like Henry Anderson; they're true pros, and so if I'm talking to Phil Hoskins, I'm like, why don't you stay after practice like Henry does and get, you know, another 15 minutes of handwork? And so I think that's what happened with Derek. I think that's what happened with Terrace. Those young players they're doing extra, and when they're ready to go, you have a good player.
Hey, Matt, apologies for the setup here, but you guys went into this year prioritizing special teams as a unit. You guys wanted to be able to flip games for you. We've seen that happen, block field goal, some nice punts, pins on the 1 yard line and whatnot. Off the top of my head, can't remember you guys getting gashed on kick coverage. Specifically about your return game, how would you evaluate where that's at, just considering the turnover of guys you've had physically returning football?
Yeah, you know, I think you start looking at like the DVOA and all that, like this analytic thing that have us a little bit lower down there because of that fumble at the Giants, which is obviously a huge play. I think if you eliminate that and just look at just the returns, you know, I don't know what it is this week. Last week, I think we were 7th or 1st in drive star. But we're up there, right? So I've been pleased with the returns. Like last week, we're 1 block away from a big one. Now LaVisca pulls the hamstring and kind of goes out of bounds. But that was another chance. So I feel like we don't remember any inside the 15. You know, Coach Tabor does a great job of like, hey, we always want to get to the 20 and then try to create explosives. That's happened. We're bringing a lot of balls out of the end zone. We're bringing them out deep. You know, this week, I think, you know, if we have a chance to get Blackshear up, you know, hopefully he can do some things for us too back there, Chuba. So I've been pleased with the return game. The punt return, you know, we've been like we're getting like a solid 10, solid 12. You know, our guys are doing a nice job on there. We haven't had like the big explosive one yet, but I feel like we've been really consistent in both areas.
Blackshear, someone you're thinking about coming up?
Yeah, he's kind of one of those guys waiting to see who else is able to go. So, but I think he has a good chance of playing this week.
Would he have a role on special teams if he is active?
Yeah, he'd return kicks if he's active. Yeah, he'd return kickoff returns.
He's a guy who, like Virginia Tech, was very versatile. I interviewed him during the offseason, and he kind of compared his game to Deebo Samuel in a way that he could be used in multiple roles. Is that how you envision him, kind of on a
you know, what I've said to him is like, you know, like he's kind of like LaVisca. Make a play early, and then we'll accelerate your role. You know, like just master what you're currently doing. And so I think for us, like if he can be up and be a returner and be an extra back, then as you make plays, then you know we find more ways to be creative with you. And so that's kind of where he's at right now for me. He's looked good in practice. He just got here late, but I think there's a lot of potential there. I think you know later in the year. LaVisca and when LaVisca's healthy and he, you know, they've been 2 really good additions by Scott, you know, in season.
Could JC get some reps at safety this week?
Just to kind of in our nickel package, you know, just kind of when he rotates back there, but nothing. He hasn't like cross-trained. I mean, we feel pretty good about Miles. We feel good about X's chances, and we feel good about Justin.
I heard you mention Sam's not much this week.
Yeah, Sam's he's just a depth. You know, he's a really good special teams player that can give us depth. But Justin, we've had Justin. It was well played by those guys. We had Justin here for if something like this happened, and so he's been able to rest. Kind of get himself where he's running really fast right now, and so that's been crucial for us. So I feel good about him.
Coach, each game this season is so imperative, like to get guys locked into finishing, right? And so where you've had good performance up until a certain point, and then the finish has been rough. How do you get your team stimulated that way?
Yeah, I don't think it's like a thing you talk about. It's a game. You have to keep playing, right? You have to play well. You have to make plays down the stretch. I've been proud of the guys that they've not panicked in those moments. Obviously last week, it got away from us. It was unfortunate, but it happened. But it's not for lack of trying. It's not like, hey, we should talk about, hey guys, let's talk about finishing, and we talk about the final 5 minutes of a game in a lot of ways. To me, it's just about the simple things like improving. It's like, hey, if block this guy, make this tackle, cover this guy better, make a better call. Those are the things that matter, to me that matter. And so, games in the NFL, like I said, you watched the game last night, they're all going to come down to the end. Most of them are going to come down to the end. And, who makes the last play. So, I believe that players win games. I think we have really good players, and they're going to go make the plays down the stretch to win games. And so we just keep improving, keep trying to get them better, keep trying to get better at what we do, and hope that, like I said, if we get a little bit better on offense this week, a little bit better on defense and special teams, comes together versus a really good team.
Who's on your headset with the coaching challenges, and can you think of a play the last year or this year, controversial or whatever, that there was a debate and how that went and how it all played out?
Well, there was I challenged the one against the Saints, right? This is my one challenge this year. I challenged the play against the Saints about the runner being down or not being down. As I've said to you guys before, we're unique in that the guys in the box can't see the boards. So there's a TV in there that has the TV feed. So we're kind of dependent upon what the TV shows. So if it's a play on defense, typically I'll flip over to the offense and say, what do you guys see? Flip back to the defense, what do you guys see? Taylor Rajak, who's our analytics person's on the headset with me all the time. And so we're trying our best to see those things. Depends on the game. A Thursday night or Sunday night game has way more cameras, way more angles than a 1 o'clock game on Sunday does. So the timing changes how many camera angles there are. So like a line to gain, like, hey, we think we got to the line to gain, for a first down, or we think we didn't, whatever. It's way more potential of getting it, challenging it and winning on a game with more cameras because they're usually right locked onto it. So, but a lot of times I have to look up at the board, and we're kind of looking at the board and listen to the TV and just trying to figure out, hey, do we want to challenge this or not? And then obviously the replay rules have changed, where they have some assistance from New York now. So sometimes you kind of know they've already looked at it and they've said, hey, it's down or not.
Not just on Baker, but it just seems across the league. It feels like you're seeing more. JC had 2 last week, I think. Is that something you guys work at or practice at? And
on defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk all the time about matching the near hand, and I think you're seeing across the league. You're seeing a lot of people play a lot more zone coverages, cover 2 coverages, trying to make people go 15, 16, 17 plays, trying to make them execute down the field, trying to get a batted pass, a tip ball. We batted a pass last week that Brian Burns almost picks off, in the game. So, but yeah, we work on that every day. We work on ball disruption, trying to affect the ball in some way. We believe that we always tell the guys on defense, tips equal picks. We're in the red zone. We rush differently. We crush the rush and try to stay in front of the quarterback so we can tip the ball because the balls come out quicker and lower. So it's definitely something that I think that you see teams across the league doing a lot.
You noticed it more than this year than maybe 2 years ago?
Maybe I can't say the batted balls. Obviously, we're talking a lot about it because of what's happened with us. But I just think in general, the zone coverages, playing with your eyes on the quarterback, you're seeing a lot more of in the league, a lot more of the bend but don't break. Hey, don't give up explosives. At least early in the season.
Take a couple more.
Yeah, Matt. We didn't obviously get you yesterday. Simply put, how was practice? Padded? It was hot out there. What did you guys accomplish?
Yeah, we're in the phase of we're grinding to get better, and the guys practiced really well yesterday. Coming off that game, defense has played a lot of snaps, so we kind of limited their volume a little bit on Wednesday, but yesterday it was old school. It was run, play, action, pass, and full pass, good. That's the type of team we're facing. That's the type of team we want to be, and so I think the guys have had a great attitude this week, great work ethic.
On that same note, Christian has a very different week of practice this week than last week. How valuable is it to have Christian out there in full pads? Like, obviously you'll do anything to make sure he's there Sunday, but when you can have it both ways, it's practicing full in pads and then likely available Sunday, how beneficial is that?
I just think Christian's a guy that makes everybody around him better. So when he's out there practicing, I think it makes the line better, makes the tight ends better. At the end of the day, like if I'm playing on our offense, I don't want to be the guy who lets him get hit. I'll make my block, so he's good. So, and then Christian's an elite teammate. He's become an elite leader. He leads in his way, right? He leads by preaching execution and practice habits, and I mean he's got an unbelievable mindset about the way he practices, and so he's a guy to me like he's like an ex-Woods, like he can go 3 days playing the game without practicing because he does so much on his own on the side. That being said, we believe that practice is the most important thing in the program up until Sunday, so having him out there is awesome. He looks great.
What did prompt you? I don't think you've gone Wednesday full pads, I don't think, to this point.
I'm sorry, no, we went Wednesday was the same. Wednesday is what we've been doing. I'm saying
Full pads every Wednesday.
no, Thursday. Yeah, it's been we done all year. Yeah, this year we looked at like injury rates. We studied like some teams like the Rams and all that, and just we said, all right, we'll do our full pad work on Thursday. Give the guys another day to recover. We still practice on Wednesdays, but we're just not in full pad. So that we made that change, and just kind of in the off season, our off season studies, and I've liked it, and the guys practice well.
Was that kind of hand in hand with the Friday-Saturday swap too?
Yeah, we just we just went back this year and said, hey, what's going to be best for us, both execution wise and health wise. The safest thing to do in football is not to practice. You'll be really healthy, you just won't be very good. So we try to there's a balance there of how do I keep the guys healthy and still practice and still get better. And when we're in pads, we just we moved it to Thursdays. Just again, one more day off their bodies, and I think when you see our defense fly around, I mean, it seems like it's working. We're playing more and more physical each week, which I like. Hopefully, we can do that this Sunday.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.